the thing about doing any sort of meditation is you can meditate on any type of scripture, whether you're familiar with it or not, because it's about breaking down the pieces of it for understanding and sitting with the word so that God reveals the meaning for you and you gain, Bible says in all you're getting, get understanding. And we're back with another meditation moment. Today's date is April 10th, and we are coming from Hebrews 4, verse 10 in the New Living Translation. And it reads, "For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labors, just as God did after creating the world." Again, it says, "For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labors, just as God did after creating the world." And so it says, "For all who have entered into God's rest." Now, some people may take that as death. Like they think of it as like an eternal rest. You could take that approach to that, but when I look at the full context of this verse in particular, it says, "For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labors." I don't think of it as the eternal rest quite yet. I actually think of it as like a Sabbath rest because it says, just as God did after creating the world. If you refer back to Genesis 1, after God created the world, he rested. It says on the seventh day, he rested. And that is the precedent he set for everyone to practice a Sabbath's rest. And so, in just reading that scripture two or three times, it clicked for me that, okay, people usually refer to something like this as eternal rest, when actually it's referring to the Sabbath's rest because it's talking about just as God did after creating the world. And so, I think about, do I experience God's rest? If I am trying to be like him and I am living for him, do I experience his rest on a regular basis? Personally, my answer would be no, but that's something that I'm working towards, making sure that I'm experiencing rest from labors. And that's critical because you have to find for you what feels like rest and what that looks like on a week to week basis, because we should be actively practicing a Sabbath type of rest regardless of the day you do it on. I know there's a lot of controversy around it. I personally choose to try to practice Sabbath when I can. And that has been a world changer for me, to just rest from labors. And you'll be surprised how much you get done mentally, how much anxiety loosens, how many things you just become into alignment with when you follow the Sabbath's rest. And so then the reflection goes on to say, there is an ultimate rest in eternity God has promised for those who are his children. Let this be a comforting reminder to you to continue to obey and reap his unfathomable reward in the end, just as those who have gone before us. And so we can take that eternal approach again and know that, like, there is even a more beautiful rest beyond what we experience here in the earth. There is even a more beautiful rest, in the end of life when we are resting with the Father. But while we are here on earth, we should be resting with him on a weekly basis. So I hope that this meditation was a blessing for you and that you would continue to tune in every week. See you for the next one.